Thank you. Thank you very much, Ken. Good morning. It's so good to be here with you. You're having a great time, aren't you? Wow. How many of you are learning something? Okay. Look at your neighbor and tell them you're going to learn something more. Go ahead and tell them that. In fact, look right back at them and say, "Why do you think I brought you?" There's a reason you're here. There's a reason that you're here. First of all, I want to thank Dave Ramsey, who is a wonderful friend, longtime buddy, longtime friend. We've done dozens and dozens of things together. And I just want you to know that I follow him. He has a huge influence on my life. He's a terrific person. He's a terrific leader. What he's done to help people get their financial act together is incredible. It's just unfathomable, his influence, his outreach, his commitment to people like you at a conference like this. All he has to do is get on the phone and call me and say, "John, will you help me?" And I go running. And when I need him, I just call and say, "Dave, will you help me?" And he comes running, and we just have a great relationship. But I just want you to know that how highly I respect him and how much I look forward to always being with him. He always challenges me. He always mentally invigorates me, and he's just an incredible gift of God, I think, to this time in our generation. And so let's just let Dave know how much we appreciate and value him, because he's just phenomenal. He's just great. And I'm delighted you're here. My friend Lou Holtz was here yesterday. Now, Lou and I, we go back a long way. We've done stuff together for 25 years probably. And I remember one time we were having lunch. This was several years ago, and he said, "John," he said, of course he was a coach, you know. He said, I've coached good players and I've coached bad players, and I'm a better coach with good players." And that's the truth. How about you? Isn't that true with you too? I've coached good players and I've coached bad players, and I'm just a better coach with good players. In a moment, I'm going to talk to you about how to grow yourself. I'm going to tell you how to grow your team. But we played golf together, and he's just a kick. He's such a personality, but it doesn't change. Wherever you are, he's just that same funny guy, and he's the most impatient person I know. I mean, honest to God. I know he's going to heaven, but after about 500 years, he's going to want to check out and go somewhere else. I mean, if you just told him that hell had a line, he'd get saved. I mean, it's incredible. So that's all right. I'll wait. Anyway, so we're playing golf. First time I played golf with him, I was with Harvey McKay too, and we were playing golf. And Lou goes right up to the front of the tee area, and he hits first. He always hits first. Doesn't matter what he scored on the last hole. He just always hits first. He doesn't care about protocol. He doesn't care about he doesn't care about any of that stuff. He just he hits first. And as soon as he hits, honest to God, he just takes off down the fairway. And I looked at Harvey. I said, "Harvey, what's he doing?" Well, he said, he's going to his ball. Well, I said, "We haven't hit yet." He said, "He doesn't care. He doesn't want to wait on you." Well, I said, "What happens if we hit the ball and it goes close? Just yell 4, he'll duck." We played, this last year, we played at Augusta for 3 days, and honest to God, 20 times we'd yell 4, and Lou would just duck and just keep on going. And Harvey takes the game real serious. I mean, he really does. Harvey, and he's a good golfer. And Lou, he's a little slow for Lou. So Harvey would be lining a putt up on the green, and Lou will look at him and say, Harvey, putt before I die, putt before I die, putt before I die." All right, he'll say, we'll be going down the fairway. Say, "Harvey," he said, "try to keep up with the group behind you. Would you try to keep up with the group behind you? Try to keep up with the group behind you." He's a beautiful, beautiful person. So you've had such a great lineup of people, and so I'm honored to be with you. Very honored, because I want to add value to you, and I really want to, in my time here, give you something that you can grab hold of that will help you to grow in your life and help you to grow the people in your life. So I want to start by saying that if you came and said, "John, what's the best advice you could give me?" I would look at you and I would say the best advice I could give you is for you to every day intentionally grow. And never allow yourself to get into a state of where you're not learning and growing and expanding and getting better. I know I'm known for leadership, but I'm more passionate about personal growth. Because all the things I've been able to learn and expand and the books I've been able to write have all been a result of my commitment to personally grow and develop myself. In my 20s, I sat down with a guy named Kurt Kampmeyer, and he just asked me what my plan for growth was. I didn't have one. And I was embarrassed. I was young, and I was at that age where I thought I was supposed to have an answer. And I remember when he asked me if I had a plan for growth, I had none at all. In fact, I didn't even know I was supposed to have one. And I remember I began talking to him about how hard I worked, and I was just kind of faking it, trying to, act as if I had a plan. And I probably talked for 5 or 8 minutes. It was kind of like a plane circling an airfield, just kind of going around and around. Finally, you just land that sucker. As soon as I did that and shut up, he looked at me and said, "You don't have a plan, do you?" And I said, "No, I don't have a plan." And then he said to me the words that just changed my life. I'm still in my 20s. I'm so glad I heard him when I was young. He said, "John, growth is not automatic. You don't automatically get better. If you're going to get better, you're going to have to do it intentionally." And those words changed my life. Because to be honest with you, I assumed that if I went to work and I just went through the daily schedule, what I assumed was that I would automatically grow, that I would just automatically get better. I had no clue that the only way you and I get better is to be intentional. The only thing automatic in life is death. That's automatic. You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to plan for that. You don't have to read a book, say, well, I got to learn how to die. No, you hang around long enough, you die. It's just the way it is. You see, the only thing that's automatic is we just get older. But just because you get older doesn't mean you get better. What I'm going to talk about will get you better. Because you see, the only guarantee that you have that tomorrow is going to be better than today is that you're growing today. It's the only guarantee. So when I hear people, they talk about, well, I hope my business will do better next year. I hope my family will do better next year. I hope for a good year coming up. Whenever they do that, first of all, I want to tell them that hope's not a strategy. And if you really want tomorrow to get better, I can tell you exactly how to get better. It's just a fact. You grow today, you set up tomorrow for success. If you don't grow today, you set up not tomorrow. See, every day, you're either preparing or repairing. And most people spend their days repairing. And then they wonder what happened. You see, if I could walk off of the stage, if you and I could just have a conversation, which would just be wonderful, like a one-on-one conversation, I would ask you 2 questions, and those 2 questions are going to determine the success of your organization, your business, your team, more than the other 2 questions, and they're going to determine your personal success. And the 2 questions I would ask you is what is your plan for personal growth in your life? What's your plan? What kind of a plan do you have right now that's going to help you get better for tomorrow? What's your plan? And the second question I'd ask you is what's your plan for your team to get them better for tomorrow? When Ken Coleman talked about me a little bit pouring into his life, he was a terrific guy, and he was with our team for several years. And he knows as well as anybody that works with me knows that we're constantly in mentoring programs. We're constantly in growth programs. We're constantly looking at where we are and where we want to go and how we're going to get there. And so I'm passionate. I'm just very, very passionate about what I'm going to share with you today, because what I know is this. This isn't, by the way, this is not a sugar stick. In fact, about 3 days ago, about 5:30 in the morning, I got up and I started writing this. And I got up this morning about 5:15 in my hotel, and I kind of worked and tweaked it some more. So this isn't like a standard talk I do. But when Dave said, I want you to talk about personal growth, I just felt very challenged to kind of go inside myself one more time and ask myself, how do I do this? How do I do this, and how can I transfer this to you? Because I'm 70 years of age, and I can tell you I'm in the best time of my life. I'm learning more than I've ever learned. I'm experiencing more than I've ever experienced. I'm still absolutely growing, and I'm just loving what's happening to me. And I want it to happen to you, and it can happen to you, but it won't happen to you unless you're very intentional. And what I'm going to give you today is very intentional. This is not like haphazard. This is not like, well, maybe. This is like I'm going to let it out and just say, basically, if you want to grow, I'm going to share with you in a moment 5 things that you need to do on an everyday basis. So I'm very excited because I know the power of the content, what can happen when you begin to lay this stuff down and begin to understand how you can apply it to your life. You see, I was in my 20s when I heard Earl Nightingale say that if you spent 1 hour a day, every day, on a certain given subject, that in 5 years you would become an expert on that subject. And when I heard that, I said, it was right at the time when I realized that everything began to rise and fall in leadership, and I was beginning to be very connected and committed to learning how to lead well myself and then teaching others how to lead. And when I heard Earl Nightingale say that if you spend 1 hour a day every day for 5 years on a certain given subject, you can become an expert on the subject, I said, I got it, I'm going to do it. And I said, I'm going to do that with leadership. And literally, that's exactly what I did. Spend an hour every day on leadership, asking questions, reading books, talking to people, exposing myself to leaders, exposing myself to leadership experiences. I mean, I immerse myself every day for an hour. And as I went through this process, I had that 5-year mark in mind because Earl Nightingale said, in 5 years, you'll become an expert on the subject. And so for the first couple of years, as I'm going through that process, I'm asking myself a question. I'm asking myself, how long will it take? How long will it take? Earl said 5 years. How long will it take? How long will it take? How long will I take? I was in about the middle part of my 2nd year, and all of a sudden, transformation began to happen in my life. And I stopped asking the question, how long will it take? I had to experience this. But as I was growing every day, all of a sudden I was seeing change happen in my life and in my thinking, in my actions. And about 2.5 years in, just about halfway mark, I stopped asking how long will it take. It's kind of like your kids in the car when you're on a trip. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? And most people, they approach their whole life like, well, it's a certain time and it will be there and there's a goal line there and there's a finish line there and how long will it take? And I'm asking that, how long will it take? How long will it take? Until growth began to change me. And the moment growth began to change me, I stopped and have never asked the question since then, how long will it take? The question changed from how long will it take to how far can I go?